Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel and or Instagram page. This is another edition of Amanda's Rants, and today we are progressing on the strength and the menstrual cycle video into periodization for people who have menstrual periods. So what does that mean? Okay, people, I say not women who menstruate, people who have menstrual periods, because there are people who are gender non-binary and trans athletes and trans people who have menstrual cycles and may need to consider these factors. So we're going to try to make as few assumptions as possible and go into periodization for those people. Now, periodization is just a fancy word for the evolution of your workouts over time. So these are divided into specific cycles, smaller cycles of a couple weeks to a month, middle cycles of 1 to 3 months, and bigger cycles of 6 months to a year. Honestly, I don't meet a whole lot of people who plan out a year of workouts in advance. I think that's a little much. I think it's more just they have sort of a general idea of how it's going to go. Or a vision, because the vision helps. The vision helps it materialize into reality. Just don't get limited by the vision so that you can't progress beyond your expectation. So, periodization when you menstruate, I recommend using the fact that your menstrual period is about a month, unless you have some sort of PMDD situation, to sync your workout with the menstrual cycle. So what that would look like is, and we talked about in follicular 1, the first phase of the menstrual cycle, you're strongest, and also in follicular 2, you're pretty strong. Strength wanes during the course of the month as you get into the luteal phase, and then flips back up at the beginning of your menstrual cycle. And we talked about, so like, you know, you see, this is my month charted out. This is my workout calendar. If this is the kind of thing that helps you, if you like color coding things and writing on calendars, I recommend you get this. This is $6. So I wrote down menstrual cycle day 1 on Friday the 5th. And so then I know follicular 1 is the first week from that. Follicular 2 is the second week from that. Luteal 1, luteal 2, and then there's steak day that I mentioned in the last video, which is the day that that I eat like a mega dose of iron so I can get through follicular 1. So then comes the essential question. How bad are your menstrual symptoms and how many days do they last? Because, as I said in the last video, you might not want to exercise while you're experiencing menstrual symptoms. If you're getting a lot of cramps, it's not going to be the heaviest lifting day ever, because you won't be able to feel like, oh, is this a lifting cramp or is this a menstrual cramp? Oh my God, my lower back hurts. So, if you know, for example, that you have severe menstrual symptoms and then they last about 3 days, you're going to shift the whole system 3 days forward. So what that would mean is that your heaviest training phase doesn't begin on the first day of your menstrual cycle. It happens, the first day of your training phase happens 3 or 4 days after your menstrual cycle. So essentially you can just relabel your follicular 1 as 4 days after, you know, the day that your symptoms start subsiding. And then your heavy strength phase is going to be 2 weeks after the day that your symptoms start subsiding. And then your light phase is 2 weeks after that. So this is essentially divided into a heavy and a light phase. And what I do here is I have a pink highlighter for the heavy phase and a blue highlighter for the light phase. So I'm going heavy, going light, going heavy, going light every 2 weeks in sync with my menstrual cycle. Now, how gritty you want to get in what sets and reps you're doing on each day is really up to you. But I like to get a general idea of which days am I strength training, which days am I climbing, because that's my sport, and which days am I doing, I like to go to cardio dance class. That's my favorite thing. It's like super fun, opens up your heart chakra, like makes you feel really happy, and I've never regretted going to cardio dance class. So what I do is I map it out. And also, if you map out like, oh, hey, this day is abs and arms, and this day is arms and climb, or whatever your form, whatever other mode you might enjoy, then you can refer back to it once you've gone through it and looked at like, oh, that was too ambitious, or I wasn't sore here. Maybe I could turn it up a little bit. Or I wasn't sore for this entire week. Maybe there's something I should be turning up. So you can, the more data you record, the more effective your program is most likely going to be. Now, that being said, if you don't enjoy the process of recording data, maybe it's something that you do occasionally. But this would be how you begin tracking the workouts so that they sync up with your menstrual cycle. And like I said, the most essential component is figuring out how many days your symptoms are lasting on average, how severe they are, and where do you want to start your 2-week heavy exercise phase. Okay? I'll also say if you get sick once, like that's a soft red flag. If you get sick twice within a specific amount of time, that's a hard red flag. So that would mean that your body's trying to tell you that you're doing too much too fast, which means you need to back it up. You should record it on your chart and say like, hey, body says no, we got to give it more time before we try that again. So I hope this helps. Good luck with your cycle. I know it's not the easiest thing, and if you don't have a cycle and you watch this video anyway, props to you too. You rock, you're moving Earth forward, and have a wonderful evening.